Yo, what's good with you? It's Nia Queen, and we are back for another episode. I have some great young men in the building. Grown men, because y'all really grown, actually. Like, y'all really grown. But I have my co-host, Chef Beans, in the building, of course. You know what it is.
Chef Beans coming through with the mental cuisine, always on the move, but I'm never hard to find.
It's good to see you, my brother.
Good to see you too.
I love the glasses. I love the look. It's like the intentional drip.
In prep for vacay. I'm physically here, but mentally I'm already in the motherland. We could talk about that.
Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about that later. And we have a very special guest who was on the second season of What's Good With You.
Mm-hmm.
You know, popping his stuff.
Yes.
He is a veteran. He's an entrepreneur. He is an aquatics extraordinaire. Okay? A triathlete. An actor. You're everything. Like, what do you not do? But Jordan Hunter is in the building.
It is good to be back. It is good to be back. I appreciate you letting me bless this again. You know what I'm saying? It's very like, sit in the middle of both of y'all. I feel like y'all, and then y'all keep looking at me.
Because you're the man.
Well, yeah. Hi. But yeah, no, I'm happy to be back. Thankful. Appreciate you.
It's very good to see both of y'all. And I was thinking about y'all like on the way. Like, what am I going to say about these two young men? Like, you guys are y'all are really doing the damn thing. Like, just by being y'all. Like, y'all don't even try. It's just all the stuff that you do. It's like, wow, we need more black men on their stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Just inspiring.
We all trying.
Y'all really doing it. Like,
I appreciate that.
I look up to y'all for real. Like, y'all really, like, yeah. I love these men right here. Okay, Jordan, it's been a minute. The last time you were with us was 2022. It is 2025.
That's what I said. It had to have been a little. We were talking about it before, trying to remember the last time we spoke, but it had to have been 2022.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that was a minute ago.
Wow, I was just turning 30.
Dang.
I'm old.
Dang. So what you been up to since then?
Coming into 2025, it's my fourth year as a high school swim coach. First and foremost, you know, I'm still in and around the water any way I can be, so that's one of my favorite pieces of it all. Stepping into my fourth year of aquatic education is the way I label it, but running a business, essentially continuing to keep kids and adults, especially of color, getting comfortable in the water, and, you know, just re-healing potential traumas that they might have associated themselves with, or generational traumas around water and open water, so that we're able and feel the necessary need to travel, which we'll get to, I'm sure, later. You know?
Yes, we will.
You know what I'm saying? Triathlons. I went out and got my USA Triathlon coaching certification.
Oh, wow.
Man, I've completed 15 or 16 in total triathlons. Started doing more long distance swimming. So like 3 miles. I did a 3 mile open water swim late last year.
3 miles.
Yeah.
Wow.
And on the acting side, let me see, 2022. Yeah, I mean, officially I had joined SAG, I think, around that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? The price is going up.
Yesterday's price is not today's
Yes.
price.
Yes.
So, you know, I'm thankful. It's a new pond, I'll say that. But, you know, as the Black Forrest Gump, I'm thankful.
You
Just
really
keep swimming.
Wait, but you didn't talk about the McDonald's.
Oh, man.
I
I
forgot
forgot.
about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't forget about that now.
Yeah, so let me see. So right when, I think when we did the episode, I think I was on the way. But I was selected as one of the 22 entrepreneurs in the United States from McDonald's, Future 22. And mine was about, you know, aquatic education. That took us to Essence Fest, first time in New Orleans, baby. And they don't play with their food now, baby. That was some good cooking. But yeah, so I was down there for that. And honestly, when I got back, I mean, I just continued to see growth in like the business, but also like value, not just volume, but value of like the people that were coming to me, and just the opportunities, and even going into like the professional side. I think I did the music video by then. Well, Ari?
Okay,
And
now
it was
now
around
you
that
just
time.
showing off.
No,
now.
I remember he was.
It was. I think that was 2023. Then I had got an audition to do a music video with Ari Lennox,
Okay.
where I was the fish in her fish bowl, as she basically was like above me. Like I went underneath her and I was holding my breath for her whole chorus.
Oh wow.
So that was dope. You know what I'm saying? But like just seeing what Water's been able to do, like somatically healing, like Black Forest Gump.
He really does it all. Like in the video with Ari.
That was fun. That was
Period.
fun. That
Period.
was
I
fun.
love Ari. But how are you guys doing? You know, before we get into like what's going on with you guys, because
What's good with you?
What's
Yes.
good with me? What's going on? Well, for starters, I feel like I'm working on being more present. I feel like I can just be on the move, but I'm liking this new normal that I'm on as far as just checking off things off the vision board. Like it's great to know that you put something on your vision board years before, and then when you stop to look around, like, oh, I remember when I just wanted this, and now it's just like it's the season. Like it's like I'm completing bingo on my vision board. That's the best way that I can put it, and it just feels so like great, very exciting. I just got to make sure that I'm smelling the flowers of the present as opposed to just trying to figure out what they gonna smell like in the future. Because of that, I'm just grateful, and all of that is off the top. I swear, not pre-written, but that's the
Okay.
only way I can conceptualize how I'm feeling right now.
that's great. That's great. But you know we gotta talk about this motherland comment that you made. What are you
Oh,
talking
yes. So, again, I'm in the season of being present, season of living in flow. And one of my business partners, they were already going out there for a wedding / business. And they asked me maybe like a week or two ago, like, yo, Beans, you should pull up on us. And I just said, all right, just like push the button. So this Friday I'm going to Johannesburg.
about? Okay.
I'm just going to just touch the soil.
International beans.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
On a 2-week notice, I hope everybody heard that.
Right.
On a 2-week notice, punch the button, pull up on me.
You do what you want when you pop in.
Listen,
Yo,
you can't hide money.
Yo, listen. So they told me about it. I'm like, yo, I'll meet y'all out there. And it's just about to be my first time in Johannesburg. But again, like back to like thinking of movies like Belly when he was talking to T-Boz, like, yo, we should go to Africa. Or Boys in the Hood when they trying to break. I don't know. It's just always been something that I've always wanted to do. And it's just like, why not? If I got the capacity.
Right.
You know, just like living in that, and who knows? See, the play might be in.
My passport is through
They need to be blessed in
2035.
South Africa. Yes.
So it's that, but yes, I'm grateful. How are you doing though? Like you keep asking everybody how they doing. How you doing?
You know, I don't know if it's because it's like Black History Month. I'm feeling really like pro-Black this
Okay.
month. Like I'm really feeling like I just have to go hard for my people this month. I don't know if it's just the Super Bowl or I don't even know what it is. I just have been feeling like really energized and really passionate about healing Black people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm on this month. Like I was, man, January, yeah, January was rough,
Okay.
right? But February, it's like I'm kind of being reminded of, you know, my talents and the things that I have going on and using my talents to heal others, you know? And so I'm really starting to come into my own when it comes to that. And I'm just feeling, this is a transformative year for me, y'all. You know, I keep on bringing up that I'm turning 30 this year, but it's just, it makes you reflect and it also makes you appreciate, you know, what you have going on. Because
Right.
sometimes we do, you know, we're always striving for the next thing. So we don't even take time to celebrate our own accomplishments now. But now I'm really like, no, I need, like, you're really doing it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how many years I've been doing What's Good With You? Like 5 years? You know, it's just like, dang, like I've really been putting out this platform, trying to help people and creating safe spaces for people, you know, and that has really have me fired up. So I'm feeling real fired up right now. You know what I'm
I'd
saying?
love to
Like,
hear it.
I feel like Martin Luther King Jr. I don't know. I'm feeling like Malcolm X. I don't know what I'm feeling like, but I just feel really fired up and just excited for what this year is going to bring. Yeah, I'm very amped up. I'm ready.
We'd love to hear it, Jordan.
Jordan, what's
quick
going
check in.
on?
How you feeling?
Oh man, if I had to, because I was deep in both yours. I didn't even think of mine. But I would say, honestly, similar to the present, I think just continuing to break up the difference between listening and hearing when people talk to me, or like when I hear things or like listen. So just being more attentive and alert, I guess you could say. And because of like anxiety from the past and PTSD, it's more so like dropping my like always having to be safe, and really just sitting into things and like allowing myself to hear what you're saying and to hear what you're saying, like without like freaking out that I hear a glass shatter back there, and being here, being present, you know, and like you said, healing. And so it's like intentionally taking that time to like really focus on what does stillness mean while I'm still moving. Yeah.
Okay. Being in the present moment.
Being in the present.
Right.
Being in the present.
And being aware of your body also is helping you heal. Yeah. I've been reading a book about that this week, and just, you know, recognizing when you're triggered or recognizing when you're feeling something, that's a part of healing. And also learning how to calm yourself down from that. And like you said, be in the present moment. That's a part of healing trauma. So that's amazing for you.
Tough.
I appreciate that. Something that's just been on my mind, you know, do you remember that back in the day, we used to talk about current events in the beginning of the episode?
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
And I was just like, why did I start doing that? You know?
Because the current events be ghetto sometimes.
Yeah,
and it's just like some
true.
stuff be propaganda. Some stuff just kind of like the same old topics. Oh,
right.
How should you split the bills? Should it be 40% men?
Right.
$200 dates.
$200 dates. You know what I mean? Like, but there are some current events that are worth talking about. But I think that was probably like something that deterred it early when we realized we were in this loop. Right, because
it was like more ratchetness and, not righteousness. But maybe I'm cliche if I bring this up, but I feel like, I mean, the Super Bowl performance, like a lot of people have mixed reviews on it, right? And I just am confused about what Black people really want to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about, like, we don't have to dissect his performance and what it meant or whatever, but I'm just like, well, what do y'all really want from y'all entertainers? You know, what do y'all really want to see? And it just made me think about like just Black media in general and what's, you know, pushed to the forefront and what's pushed to the back. Right. And I always felt like, you know, sometimes the ratchetness is pushed forward, you know, and it's just like Kendrick's trying to do something, you know, revolutionary, and it's just like, oh, we don't want to hear that shit. You know what I'm saying? We want to hear something we could shake our ass to, or whatever the case may be. Like, I just wanted to know, like, your thoughts on that. Like, why do you think that is happening still to this day? Because I feel like, you know, sometimes I feel like, oh, you know, we moving forward. Like, you know, there's certain things that pop off, and I'm like, oh, so we getting better, you know what I'm saying? And then certain days, I'm just like, yo, what?
Hey, look, I got you, Nia Luther King. I got you, Nia Luther King.
Right.
But we as a people need to stop.
Because the white man keeps putting us on the platform.
So my take on it is like pretty simple. People are pacified by things that don't necessarily help them grow because they're normal and what they're used to ingesting is a certain level of just being, I don't know if dormant is the word, but they don't even know that they're, how do I put it? Some people don't get that they don't get it. And they're okay with staying at the vibration that they're on because that's all that they know. So when you're introduced to something new or something revolutionary, a lot of times it's just like pushed back because, again, growth is uncomfortable.
Right.
And anything that's uncomfortable or anything that's out of the norm gets kind of shied away. So when it comes to like Black media and different things like that, regardless of a rhetoric that's trying to be pushed, again, if a person ain't trying to hear that, they want something that they can like bop to. And if it's not a bop or if it's not something that's easily consumable, it's kind of like, it just pushed away. So you have that small percentage of people who are kind of like, oh, I caught that or I appreciate that. damn, I have similar experiences with that.
Right.
And then you have a larger population, or if you've ever seen like those cartoon memes where it's a bunch of people on this line or a bunch of sheep over here and there's one sheep over here going that route. That's just the reality that we live in. So you'll run yourself into exhaustion sometimes trying to understand minds that don't care to understand.
Yeah. That's what I need to learn, because I just be ready to argue. I'll be ready to get my point across, and I'm like, no, you need to. And like you said, it's like I'm going to run myself into exhaustion.
Again, some people don't get that they don't get it.
Yeah.
It's not that they don't get that they don't get it. They don't see anything as far as like wrong. And we live in an extremely subjective world where, of course, people can make whatever decisions that they make. But in the words of Dr. Umar, you gotta leave some of them niggas behind.
Everybody got a ticket home. Not
No,
everybody
for
got a
real.
ticket.
And the way that you put it is so, like, it just resonates with me, because I was having a conversation with somebody today, and they were like, oh, yeah, I've never voted before. And he was like, well, voting doesn't change anything. Like, if you live in a red state or a blue state, like, your life will be the same. I was like, what? I said, if I live in Georgia, I can't get an abortion. What are you talking about? My life has changed that quickly. But it was like, he don't even know that he not tapped in. You get what I'm saying? And, I had to be like, okay, that's the last conversation that we're having.
Right.
Exactly.
Jordan, how do you feel, Jordan?
I think the biggest thing to what you're saying, and like when you have like a certain opinion towards something and you want everybody to get it, to your point, you just got to be like, you know what? I got to stop trying to make you understand. But unfortunately, especially with media, negativity creates network. Like, like clickbaits. Like, that's why World Star is what World Star is. But then you have, like I don't know, just something random where it's like there's a 5th grader that just graduated with his master's. You know what I'm saying? But we care about somebody walking out of a restaurant with somebody. Right. And I understand, like, there's a space for both, right? Because there's people that just love that stuff, but also it's like, can we get something positive? Can we get something out of the norm and different? But I think especially with the way mental health is coming and just more outlets, sometimes it's a little oversaturated, overstimulated, but the more outlets that are like into therapy now and like communication is larger, I think there's more positivity. Now we just got to get the cameras on it.
Right.
I think that's the biggest thing. But I mean, this year I told myself, like, I just can't care about that. Like, what if it doesn't have to do with me? More and more I'm just like, I don't care. Not that I'm like, I'm over that or I'm above that, but like, I just don't care. Like, I didn't get to watch it live because I was in class. But when I got home, I rewatched Kendrick's performance. I was like, it was dope. It was a great story. It was a story. And then when you go see it, it's like, oh, it was like a PlayStation controller. Yeah. I was like, this is dope. But then you see the comments like, oh, like he was supposed to have fireworks. It's like, bro, the nigga wanted to use his platform to like do a story. Like, let him do a story.
Right. He was chose for a reason.
It's
and
crazy.
Again, it's just it's history. When stuff is revolutionary, people haven't seen certain things before. And again, people are just into what they into. Right. And it's kind of like sometimes you just gotta keep it to one word. Bet. I'm not going back and forth with you.
Don't do that. Yeah, you gonna do that.
Bet, right. What he say?
Babyface.
What Babyface say?
Yeah, you gonna do that.
Go do that.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, people be playing our faces sometimes, but it's, just got to keep it moving, keep it going.
It's a gift and a curse.
And I just think right now, in the times that we're in, it's just like really important to just amplify Black voices and uplift those more positive things, like Jordan was saying, like put the camera in front of them. And I know that Jordan has been working on stuff to amplify Black voices.
Oh, word? What you been working on, my boy?
I know you have something coming up, so I want to talk a little bit more about that and like, how do you plan on amplifying Black voices?
Man, I appreciate it. This is the second time I've like pre-broke news to the world about something. You know what I'm saying? So this is that safe space, and I appreciate you putting a camera on it. But not to go too far back, 2016, I was in the military. biggest thing I saw was I was the only black dude that was a rescue swimmer. I was one of the only black people that walked around in a flight suit, really looked like Will Smith in Independence Day. But everybody else didn't look like me. So every time I saw somebody who was black, I was like, dang, where are you from? You know, like, and then just hearing like, yeah, my first time getting on a plane was when I was going to boot camp. Like, I'm from Leroy, Mississippi. And things like this. I was like, I'm gonna create a podcast. And I just want to journal people's like journeys. Like, what are you doing? Why did you join? And then I started interviewing my friends. And then I've been thankful to know some good people. And then I started interviewing them. And I started interviewing more people. And so the whole goal and concept of my podcast was Say It Loud. It was to amplify the First Amendment of people of color, especially in what we call non-traditional like jobs. So like a man that's been a 40-year plumber, that's a career-driven man. You know what I'm saying? He works. He's got his own business. And here's somebody who's established himself for 40 years. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the first thing we're running to hear about, you know? One of my friends, shout out to Nia Tapper in USA Women's Rugby, brought home a bronze medal. You know what I'm saying? And I got to interview her prior to that, being a woman of color, getting the opportunity to represent on the Olympic level when they brought rugby back into an Olympic sport. So it's just like, dang, I've never seen them. Dang, I've never seen them. And so when I coming back, you know what I'm saying? I think there's some more fine tuning to do with it, but it's very important that I continue to just journal. I think I'm not the strongest penmanship, but my way is to ask a question and sit back and allow the audio, and sometimes the visual helps, but more so the audio of hearing people talk through where they're getting ready to go, what they've done. And then, you know, they can have that 5 years from now. It's an archive. And especially if we're going to go into the digital age, I think it's important that as we start to have kids and get into that generation, it's like, you don't have to just pull out pictures. Here's a full video of what your grandfather did. Here's a full video. So Say It Loud's on its way back out.
Liddy.
And it's going to be a lot around water. One of my near and dear is also why I wore blue today. You know what I'm saying? Everything's always very intentional.
Okay.
Hey.
Caught that. You got to pay him.
I know. That's why, like I said, I know. That's why I looked. I said, charge me.
No.
But yeah, you know, water's one of my greatest mediums, and I don't think it's a mistake that I was put around water, especially with how many miracles in the Bible are done in and around water.
You know, as you're talking about that, I'm ashamed. I still haven't taken any swim lessons. But at some point, well, but you know what you have done for me, though? You reshaped how I view, you know, aquatics.
And that's the first step.
And that's the first step, because I feel like just for a lot of, you know, African Americans, sometimes we could be scared. And, you know, that's the main reason why I haven't done it, y'all. Sorry.
She also keeps getting her hair done. That's why also.
That's true. You know, I don't want to mess the hair up. But, yeah, it's just like, I appreciate you for that, like reshaping like how we view that, and just breaking down, you know, barriers like a triathlon. Like, wait, hold on. Can you break down what a triathlon is first? Like, what do you guys have to do in order to get to the finish line?
Yeah, so there's so the whole thing is like called multi-sport, but a lot of multi-sports, there's like duathlon, aquabike, all this stuff. So triathlon falls under that, but pretty much it's swim, bike, and run. Different distances per different like type. So like similar to how people run half marathons and a marathon and then 10K and 5K, same kind of concept where if you're running a 5K, people in the triathlon world, swim, bike, run might be like, oh, I'm doing a super sprint, which is the shortest distance of each of those. And then there's one above that, which is sprint. And then there's one above that, that's the Olympic distance, which also is known as international, because that's the one that they do at the Olympics. And then you have what a lot of people familiarize triathlon with is Ironman, which is the longest one, which again is very similar to a marathon. So I like the Olympic distance and shorter, because an Olympic distance is a mile typically in the open water, 25 miles on a bike, and then you run a 10K, 6.2 mile run. Oh, so usually it's like a little south of 3 hours, sometimes a little south of 4, just depending on who you are, how you want to do it. You know, hey, I even got beans in the water for Legacy Mondays. I'm getting people ready, you know, but you
gonna do one next? Triathlon?
Probably not.
But the probably was better than an absolutely not. So you know what? Growth.
Yes.
Because he thought about it like, I probably could do it for real.
He could.
I definitely could do it. With me, it's kind of like capacity and making sure it's something I could fully commit to. So it's like, it just would have to be the season for it.
Yeah. And so, but I think just getting in the triathlons was like not an accident. It was intentional. But it's my second invoice. But I just feel like me doing triathlons, it motivates people because, especially of color, because we can run and most of us enjoy biking. It's just the swimming. So now them seeing me do triathlons, it's the pipeline for them to be like, all right, I'm ready to learn how to swim because I want to do a triathlon.
Right.
So it's not like I'm trying to make triathletes. I'm just trying to show you could do a lot of stuff around water. You know what I'm saying? We got more footage coming with scuba diving, certified for that, but we got to see us doing it for familiarity of like, yo, my homeboy be doing that crazy stuff. We're like, oh, there's a relay team. I could go jump on that.
It won't sound as foreign every time.
Yes. Because, again, it's up to that next level of I've never seen this, but I'm okay with exploring it. Or just going out to support.
Right.
It's very hard. I mean, you're a marathoner. Have you done a marathon, half marathon?
Probably not.
Okay, respect. But it's just like, oh, come cheer me on at 6 a.m. It's hard to get people out to a run.
Right.
Triathlon started at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So, it's just the more we can get exposure, the more we're going to get people curious, the more people I can either pivot or shift into getting swim lessons or hopefully being a part of the pipeline through swimming and opportunities.
They say there's a bunch of people like Luther Vandross who says a house is not a home. And then you have people, let me cook. Then you have people like, my heart is a house full of, look, like it's a lot of house and things that's coming up. This is what I'm saying. When you have friends and family members who do certain things, regardless whatever it is, it becomes more closer to home. So kind of how we were talking about earlier with media and why people lean into certain things, it's because that toxicity is close to home. So if you keep exposing people to things, especially your peers, whether it's triathlons, whether it's things about water, it becomes more closer to home to them and they'll be more open to leaning into it. That's just where my brain went the whole time while you were talking. It's just kind of, how do we make things that are unfamiliar closer to home so that people will be more open to leaning into it?
And this is why he had his own TED Talk, yo.
Chill.
Because he be doing stuff like this, okay?
That's literally
right.
Fold.
That's like as you were talking, I'm just kind of like, that's the thing. How do we make it more closer to home? And again, like you have like non-traditional blacks who do non-traditional black things, and it's just more so that's still their cool or their normal. So how do we expose things that aren't as common and that positively impact their trajectory into other things? Yes, it's unfamiliar, but I'm still going to lean into it.
And I have a question for both of y'all, but Beans, I'm thinking about the stuff that you do, and how does the stuff that you do reshape like how people view things? Like how does the things you do make things closer to home for people? And I have an idea, but I want to hear your
Let them cook.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. So I'm from a small town in Jersey, and again, when it comes to moving to LA, and Jordan, I'm not sure if this has been your experience before. Number one, just saying you moving to LA, it's already like from whatever towns we're in, it's kind of like, whoa, you're moving to LA. Then when you go out there, it's kind of like, yo, did you meet Tyler Perry yet? Yo, how's the Hollywood sign? And people's experience or their thought process or perspective on LA is everything that they see on TV. So the simple fact to not only just be able to move out here, but to also like really put your feet on the ground and progress, it's impacting people in a way to where they're like, yo, I remember when he just spoke it. And now I'm seeing them just do it. So what are things that I can speak and just do? What the Bible says, you better speak those things that are not. And it's kind of like back to like that bingo, back to like those things. Like people are now seeing me not saying I've ever just been a talker, but it's like, nah, he executes as well. So it kind of holds people accountable before they come to me with certain things, especially when it comes to complaining. People don't complain to me because they know I'm probably either going to look at them with a blank face or they know they can't just come to me, I'm thinking about doing this. Or at least like the second time or the third time. They might say it the first time, but yo, Beans, I'm thinking about doing this. And I'm like, you've been thinking about it for 3 years. Like, So that's how people respond to me now, rightfully so, because again, like I know we're capable of doing whatever we really like set our minds to. So within that, again, I'm like a walking accountability partner, whether they see the be intentional or whether they just know my temperament. It's just kind of like I do most things afraid. So to me, that's not an excuse. I do most things for the first time.
Right.
Or not having limited resources.
Yeah. And you're talking about yourself like from an entrepreneur aspect, but I was thinking more about your art and the stuff that you put out into the world and how that has even reshaped my, ideals around dating and, Black men and vulnerability. And I remember when you had the movie premiere and like how many people were, clapping during it and like really being moved. And I'm thinking about one girl in particular that just started crying during her monologue. And it's just like, wow, like you could really be vulnerable in your dating world. You know what I'm saying? Like in your dating life. And that, reshapes like how we view dating, because a lot of times it is superficial, it is like, oh, let's put our best foot forward and let's show up as, the best version of Nia. And it's just like, no, like be yourself. And that is reshaping, how we view dating and just for the Black community. So I just want to give you credit for that too, because that really, it changed me. It changed me for sure.
I appreciate that. And again, it all comes down to like figuring out who you are and what type of space you want to take up in this world. And if it's going to be in a superficial space, cool. If it's going to be in a faulty friend, a sus, cool. Like if that's your prerogative. But if you just like, yo, I'm going to be the same person every time I show up, whether that's in a vulnerable capacity, whether that's just me knowing who I am so I know what's for me and knowing what's not, and everybody who I keep around me, they're genuine, then that's that. And that's the space that I like to stay on with specific goals in mind, or the words of Jalen Hurts, keeping the main thing the main thing.
Love the quotes here.
Go
man.
Birds.
Literally love
Go Birds.
And my follow-up question for both of you guys is, we're talking a lot about how we inspire others, right? But how does this work impact you? Like, how do you feel when you're able to accomplish these things? Or how do you feel when you're doing your triathlon? Like, what's going through your mind? Or when you're educating people about aquatics, like, what does that do for you? Does that help you? Does that heal you? I just wanted to know from both of you guys.
Yeah, I think when I'm trying to grab one of the thoughts out of the sky here, there's one. I think when seeing somebody's start, not to finish, but start to progress, is where I start to just see like the anxiety release. I start to see and hear them start to speak more confidently when they're in the water. And then it's kind of like I can just sit on the edge of the pool and watch them now. And now I'm out of the water. Now I'm asking, do they want me to record them? Because now they're confident in where they are in their journey. And it's almost like not being a father, but being it is a coach, but it is that like patience through growth. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think similar to what you were saying, I think that my purpose, I've always and continue to shape the actual wording for it, but my purpose is to continue to bring healthy relationships in and around the water. Again, especially because of how many miracles are around the water. It's insane. And there's more that I'm still discovering as I, deeper dive into that. And the biggest thing about that into like an acting thing, because this man right here actually gave me one of my first opportunity in a theater play. Not only that, but I was the first person to go out on that one. And I was like, oh, okay. But even just that, like my passion is to be a part of artwork. And so for somebody to think like, you're the perfect piece, not the piece, not the main, like that doesn't need, like, you're just a part of it. Like, I know this sounds crazy, but like when I see like super traditional art, like Van Gogh's and things like that, I always try to find like that far off right thing, like the dude holding the umbrella on the right hand side. And I'm like, that has significance. Like everybody's looking at like, wow, this looks very beautiful, but he still made the photo.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that might be my piece to artwork. So as an actor, like that's all I want, is to be a part of the artwork. But from the purpose side, I think that I feel most fulfilled just seeing people's journey in and around water. To go from, I'm afraid of water, I almost drowned, or my mom never let me around water, my dad, whatever it may be, to like, hey, here's a video of me jumping off a boat and I'm not there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just like, man, like I've always said, even if they forget my name long down the road, like kids I teach and all that stuff, yeah, they call me Coach Jordan now, but like when they're like 17, 18, they're just going to say, yeah, I had a swim coach. But they hopefully will remember that it was a swim coach of color. You know what I'm saying? If they're not black, you know, or, oh my God, like my swim coach was black when I was growing up. Really? You know, and it's going to become less and less because of exposure. So fulfillment through that.
Fulfillment through growth.
Fulfillment through growth.
Yes. What about you, man? Be intentional.
So the question is, how does my art impact people?
No, not people impact you. What is it? What is the effect on you when you're doing what you're doing? Does it have an effect?
It did have an effect. I think now I've just made it my norm as far as understanding that everything that I do in life is art. Like, you know how people say, yo, my life is a movie or whatever. Like, so I'm a lot of times, whether it's through transparency monologues or other art that's to come or whatever, everything is a scene to me. Like everything is like orchestrated by God, and God is the director and writer. So I'm just a lot of times just recreating moments or visualizing what that could look like in the future. So how it impacts me, I feel like everything is already written. So I'm just kind of like just in flow of what it already is, and just feeling like if people are living purpose-driven lives or living lives where they want to impact others, every day and every moment, I'm just showing up as my fullest self the best way that I know how to. So I'm not as starstruck as I was when I first came out here. I'm around millionaires, billionaires here and there, and it's just
Talk heavy.
I meet them where they are
Right.
because it's just kind of like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? And it's just, that's how it impacts me. I've been out here, again, long enough to where nothing surprises me, and I'm just reminding myself again just to like stay the course. And even in moments where I feel discouraged, understand that it was written, I just gotta like push through it.
Yeah. And for me, I catch myself more and more these days like having like those aha moments. Like, you know, like when something just clicks, like when you're doing something or when you're putting out your art, when you're putting out something, when you're coaching somebody, you get like that aha moment where it's like, dang, I know what I'm doing a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is really helping people. This is really making an impact on people. And that kind of just energizes me to keep pushing and to keep going forward. And similar to what Jordan said, like, as a therapist, primarily working with children, you know, sometimes I meet them at their lowest point mentally, and seeing them grow, seeing them, and it's not seeing them, you know, they have depression, no, now they don't have depression, but it's like seeing them being able to at least have the coping skills to deal with it when before they just were hopeless. You know, that in itself is like, dang, like I'm really helping change somebody's life. And sometimes I forget it because it's my job, right? You know, everybody has a job, they clock in, clock out, whatever. And sometimes I lose focus of that. But then when I do see the people who, if I'm working with a kid that, you know, suicidal, and now they telling me 6 months later, you know, I don't want to kill myself anymore. That to me is like, whoa.
Right.
Like I had a part in that. Even if I'm not the main reason for that, like I had a part in that. And so it just creates joy. You know, it creates joy because all of us, we do a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be high stress, you know, working a regular job and also being an entrepreneur full time. Like that is very stressful.
Yeah.
So it's like just creating those little moments of joy really get you through, you know, get you through those difficult, stressful times. And yeah, I love what I do. I love what I do. Even like just the podcast and like meeting people like you guys. It's just like, dang, like we really like creating something, you know, we're really creating, you know, a safe place. We're really creating joy, you know, for Black people. And I'm not trying to sound like Dr. Umar and stuff. I'm always mentioning black people, but like that was the main thing. Like when I first started this, like I'm unapologetic about that. Like, no, this platform is for black people. Like, you can listen, anybody can listen, right? But when I created it, I had black people in mind, and it's just like, yeah, I just love what I do. I love what I do, and it's all about helping and healing, and just helping people grow. And I don't know, I just love that. I'm sorry, I'm getting sentimental over here. But for both of you guys, obviously, sometimes I think about my podcast and I'm like, dang, sometimes it get a little heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like, how can we create some more joy, within our community? How can we talk about, more positive, uplifting things? Because it can get dark sometimes, and I'm like, all right, Nia, chill out. Like, everything don't need to be dark. Like, you know what I'm saying? Everything don't need to be harsh, and, So I was thinking about, like, how do you guys create joy for yourselves? And, if you have any advice on how people can create joy within their own lives, I would love to hear from both of you guys.
That's a great question. I think through therapy for the past year and 3 months that I've been in, that has been one of my biggest focuses. When I went in initially, I had said, I just want to know what it feels like to have that warm joy feeling again. And really just understanding, is that like a piece of joy every day, or is that one time a month? Is it recognizing it, like, and then that's it? So that's been my thing. So I think going into this year, I just have to get back to similar what you were saying, and why I enjoy watching the story, because it's literally a story. Like it's IG stories, but it's not just like posting. Like there's a filter that opens up, and there's music, and it's like the day, like, you're getting something when you see your stuff. And for me, I just got to get back to just make it, just create it. And that's been my fun, because I think moving out here and trying to be like this like personality, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't idolize, but I do look at people like The Rock and how this man has built a multi-million-dollar empire based on everything he's been able to touch and how professional he is in person. But obviously there's another side to that. And I was like, dang, I got to get away from thinking to be that. I have to do something differently than just be myself. And I think judgment has been a big piece of it. So to end that piece and get back to the question at hand, to create joy for me this year, it's just getting back to doing things for myself and letting people say whatever they want and not being afraid. That is the biggest part, because there's a lot of sensitivity in spaces. And I teach white kids to swim, but obviously I let everybody follow me on Instagram. But you might see me at a concert. That does not change how I treat your child. Your child is not I'm not calling your child, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not talking to them. There's not code switching, but there's professionalism. Right. But it's like, I don't know if I like, and it's like, well, I don't need to teach you then. I'm sorry, this is who I am. So I found this book, and it's literally called 3,000 Things About Me. And I've been trying to post every day. Just post. Like, no perfection, no cap cut editing. Like, it's just, look, let's just do a voiceover this time. Let's get creative. But yeah, so it's just been about, just do it. Just post it. Go find that.
Yeah, that's very awesome, man. I think for me, it's just making sure that I'm checking in with myself. And a lot of times I'm faced at crossroads. Whether this is a good decision or not good decision sometimes, because your joy can be sometimes not received by joy from somebody else. Yeah. So it's like, okay, like, yes, this is joyful for me, but is anyone else being impacted? So sometimes like that varies, but for the most part, I find myself just laughing throughout the day. Like, joy comes from laughter, and it can be the littlest things, whether it's something I've seen on TikTok or an old story that I remember, or something that's going to happen in the future. I find joy in the little things. And again, just reminding myself that none of this is real. Like, I think that's like the biggest like comedic thing that I get sometimes. Like, it's like when you find yourself stressing about something and then you overcome it and you think back like, yo, remember when you didn't know how your rent was going to be paid, or remember when you didn't know where you was going to live because you apartment hunting, and then you look back like, yeah, I was really driving myself crazy that time. And it's just like, you know what I mean? When you think about like when the world felt as stressful, oh, I don't know how I'm going to get out of this. And you get out of it.
Right.
And it's just like, that's where joy comes from for me, just like realizing that just focus on being the best person that you can be, and everything else is just going to fall into place.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata.
And don't let the shades fool you. Like, Chef Beans is goofy.
Yo.
Like,
all day.
He always posted memes talking about, I'm just a chill guy.
Yo, all day.
I'm like,
I laugh at myself all day. And that I'm my own target audience. People ask me all the time, who's your target audience? Me.
Yeah.
Who do you post up to inspire? Me. How did you know I needed to hear that? I don't know, but I needed to hear it.
Right.
That's why I posted it and said it.
Right.
Everybody else gets hit in crossfire.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm one of the most selfish people I know.
That man right there.
I'm one of the most selfish people I know. Not in a way where it negatively impacts others. I'm just always checking in with myself.
Right. But that's good, because that's being authentic. And it's like, you don't need to worry about what everybody else needs. Like, you got to put you first. You put everybody else before you know, what you going to have left for yourself.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I like how you said that. Like, I'm my target audience.
I'm my target audience.
I love that.
I never ask myself, what does somebody else need? Like, I don't think about that. I'm like, no, like all the run club motivation things, like my biggest thing, what do you need in this moment? And I create a story off of that.
Yeah, we having little speeches in 10 seconds. Just
he don't miss.
Right.
He don't miss.
It be that. It be that.
He be knowing he gonna cook up something. He be like, Nia, record me real quick.
No. That's funny. What about you though? Where does joy come from in your life?
I think just getting older, I'm like focusing on my inner child and like things that I used to like when I was a kid, and I didn't care about how I looked, or I didn't care about how I was perceived. But yeah, like just doing childlike things. Like I teach a girls therapy group, and sometimes like I just talk with them and just like conversate. Like it don't always have to be super serious. Let's talk about anxiety. Like, okay, let's talk about this. Oh, my celebrity crush is this. You know, like just.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Morris Chestnut.
Okay.
Come on now. Or like, you know, going to sporting events. Like me and my dad used to go to like WNBA games when I was a kid, or Clipper games when I was a kid, and like stuff like that. Like just things that remind me of my childhood just help me, you know, get in tune with my inner child. And I'm like, wow, I'm really having fun and I don't care, you know? Just dancing. Like I used to dance, y'all, like when I was a kid, like from when I was 3 years old to when I was 12, like just dancing, listening to music, going to concerts, and like not caring about who's looking at me. Like, no, I'm gonna turn up to whatever is being played. Like that's just how I'm creating joy, but also like I'm healing my inner child at the same time by doing some of these things. And also, like, community is a big thing for creating joy. Like, having a community of people who are passionate about the same things that you're passionate about, like, that really helps, you know, heal and also, like, create joy. Like, so just being around like-minded individuals, talking about, you know, like, last week, me and Jordan was talking about podcasting and stuff like that. Like, that type of stuff makes me happy, you know? Or like run club, that type of stuff makes me happy, because it's just like these are Black people out here that really care about their health and wellness. And, you know, it's like, this is cool. Like, this is really creating joy for me. And also, I've been getting into audiobooks. I don't know. Like, I kind of veered off from podcasts, and I started, you know, listening to audiobooks, whether it's a romance book, whether it's a book about trauma, or, you know, geared towards therapy or whatever. Like, that really is like creating joy for me for some reason, because it's like I'm gaining knowledge, and I just love to learn.
Yeah.
So it's just like those are the types of things that, maybe 5 years ago I wouldn't say that they were. I was too worried about. As being said, I kept on talking about relationships.
Yeah.
I was
every
stuck.
2 seconds.
Yeah, I was stuck on
because
that.
my ex. Yeah, because you're my man. I'm like,
Yeah, but now that that's no longer in the forefront, it gives me time to focus on the things that actually bring me joy,
Right.
that actually motivate me and excite me and push me forward. So that's how I've been creating Black joy. Like even like this space, like talking to y'all, like this makes me happy. Like I woke up, I'm like, oh, I'm excited. Like this is Beans and Jordan, and like it's gonna be like old times. Like like that creates joy in my heart. So yeah, just getting in tune with my inner child and doing things for me.
I love that. Being my
core audience, as Beans said, right? Doing things for me. I like that. I like that a lot.
That's dope.
And the reason why, all the things that we've been talking about today, obviously, because Black History Month. And I'm just like, let's just talk all things Black history. Why it gotta be one thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, why does it have to be focused on, sometimes I could be really rigid. I don't know if it's a Virgo thing, but like, Beans will be like, what's the episode about? Or, sometimes he doesn't even ask because he could just go off the top of his head. And I'm like, dang, why am I stressing about hitting the mark on, each topic when we could just have a conversation? Like, we all know each other, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm just, I'm trying to create Black joy and also heal. But as we, come to a close or whatever they say, I just wanted to ask you guys a little bit about, it's gonna be like a little rapid fire question thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just gonna be random questions.
Okay, let's get it.
And you don't have a lot of time to respond. So like, I'm not gonna be timing you for real, but like, who wants to go first?
I'll go.
Okay.
All of them, it's back to back to back me rapid fire, or like one.
It's gonna, no, all of them.
Okay,
all
bet.
of them are rapid
All
fire.
right.
Like, I'm
All right, here we go. Family Feud style. 30
Okay.
seconds on the clock. No, I'm kidding.
And dang, you kind of already answered one of these questions, but
Perfect.
what would you say is like your go-to coping skill?
Go-to coping skill is singing and talking to myself out loud.
Okay. What about, who is someone in Black history that inspires you?
Someone in Black history who inspires me is Serena Williams.
What can you do for a mental reset?
Mental reset. I take a nap, but lately I've been listening to gospel music and going to talk to the man above.
What is your favorite way to celebrate Black history?
Favorite way to celebrate Black history is to continue to help people create new ones.
Okay, good. That was, you answered pretty quickly. That was good.
You know what I'm saying? I know who's getting ready to go next.
Yo,
Let me get my stuff out the way.
Right.
All right.
Chill out.
You ain't want to have to follow that.
Yo, chill, man.
Are you ready, Beans? It's, it's
Ready.
quick little questions.
Ready
You know what I'm
spaghetti.
saying? What's your go-to coping skill?
My go-to coping skill is taking a nap.
Okay. Who inspires you when you need a boost of motivation?
Jay-Z, Reasonable Doubt album.
What do you do for a mental reset?
I have a list called Things That Make Me Happy. So it's a bunch of things that tap into nostalgia. So eating strawberry shortcake ice cream, because that was my favorite treat as a gift. As a kid.
What's your favorite way to celebrate Black history?
By being Black History.
Oh, period. Period. Okay.
Are you ready for your rapids?
Excuse me?
You ready for your rapids?
Oh, no, I don't.
Yep, Jordan.
All right.
Grab the list, Jordan.
Oh, I got you. Are you ready? Here we go. Ooh, I don't got my glasses on. We're going to do it like this. All right, here you go.
Okay.
What is a coping skill for Nia that works?
Listening to music.
Who inspires you more, more and more that you lean into them?
Oh damn! I ain't even think about my answers. I don't know why Dr. Umar is coming to my head.
Okay.
Fair. When you need a mental reset, where do you go?
The spa.
Okay. And then favorite way to celebrate Black history?
Supporting Black-owned businesses.
Okay.
There you go. Great job.
Good job.
Dang, I guess that was kind of hard.
Let's
I
start
didn't.
again.
Sorry, y'all. I didn't think y'all was gonna make me do it. To be honest.
Hit that Uno reverse real quick.
Right.
Hey.
That's funny.
So, Jordan, what do you have coming up next? Where can the people find you at? Like, what's next for Jordan Hunter, Mr. Hunter?
Man, find me in the nearest pool. No, I'm kidding. Well, actually, you probably could. I think right now the biggest thing that I have coming up is just getting back to my joy, getting back to the narratives of Black people, and bringing this podcast back. I just got so wrapped up in my head about how I wanted it to look that I just needed it to be done, and then you can make it look
Exactly.
better.
Right.
Yep.
Dress it up and make it real for me. So that's a big thing in that space. Aquatics, by the time this comes out, it'll be maybe close to, we'll see, but usually during the summertime, I'm usually in the water, you know what I'm saying? So the best way to reach me from that is through my Instagram, and just try to reach out and just be like, hey, I want to learn how to swim. We got groups, we have individuals. I personally like individuals. I take you out in the open ocean. There's many ways of doing it, and the best thing about it, and I've continued to lean in on this, is everything is donation based, because I'd rather you say no because of time and not no because of finances.
And what's that website and what's that Instagram?
Instagram is going to be Boogie the Beast, BOOGIEDEBEAST. And if you need to see the legalities, it is www.sayaloudmedia.org, which will have Legacy Aquatics, the name of the game. But that's what we got coming up, man. Hopefully y'all start seeing me on TV more, because I need these callbacks. Okay, listen. It's the year. We've gone through our strikes, and
it's already written. It's already happening.
We are ready. Yes,
it's already in motion.
DC Studios, come on.
Amen.
Playing with your boy.
Amen.
What about you, Beans? I know you got 1,000,001 things.
Man.
No, honestly, like right now, I'm just trying to really lock in the theater. Not either in LA, because me and one of my business partners, we have a plan and high intention why the next one needs to be in LA. So just locking in a theater, a bigger theater that has the capabilities that I'm looking for. And outside of that, just really excited about traveling. Like, I don't know what's going to be sparked or inspired the first time I'm about to touch the motherland, but I'm saying yes to it. And I'm going to tell y'all this, because this episode is going to come out after it's done. So I'm telling y'all in advance.
Okay.
Y'all know the Mufasa video? Pierre, that's Mufasa.
Yeah.
I'm going to recreate that, but with some lions in the background. Watch.
Okay. Ooh.
Watch. I already see it.
Oh man! All
With
right.
you gonna be in like next to him, like
No, they're going to be behind me. There's like lion tours or whatever in
Oh.
Johannesburg. Not random lions. Hell no. Not random
I thought
lions.
you was just gonna hop out the safari tour and be like with the lions.
No. But it's going to happen, and watch. It's going to be funny. That's it. That's all I got.
Are you gonna grow your locks out when you get over there?
Nah, you know what? They said, before To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick with the South Africa came back on a different type of time, so who knows? Not going to say I'm going to come back as Martin Luther Beans King.
Martin Luther Beans.
Martin Luther Beans.
Not Martin Luther Beans, but it's
Intentional X.
Right, but it's going to be, it's just that, again, just like saying yes to that and just tossing out different vision boards every day, because they just keep getting checked off. So I'm excited. What about you, Nia?
Well, I am in the season of praying for clarity, and I have a lot going on, and I'm trying to figure out what should be in the forefront. Right. But as for right now, follow us on Instagram, _what's good with you. You can follow me, Nia Queen. Right now, I'm working on building my private practice, and hopefully by the time this airs, I have a website up where people can find me if they want to have therapy with me, My specialties are trauma, anxiety, depression. I'm really, focused on making that the main thing and making that the main source of income, you know? So it takes a while to do, but right now I'm definitely setting, the groundwork for that. So eventually it will be in progress. I mean, it will be whatever the word is, in progress, in whatever. It's going to be there.
Yes.
Right?
Amen.
And then also with Kid Onyx, my goal this year is to get into more schools. Like last year, I did a deal with the YWCA and got it into the child care centers in the YWCA. So now I'm trying to get into LAUSD and the elementary schools and just, making sure that the kids have the social emotional learning at the elementary school level. So that you could find that at kidonyx.com if you need some things for your children. And check us out on YouTube. I can't wait to post this video on YouTube. I can't wait to be back. You know what I'm saying? And I forgot to mention, this is the final season of What's Good With You. This has been an amazing journey. I've learned so much, and thank you, Jordan, for coming back. You were one of my favorite guests, and I really wanted you to come back and share like what you have going on now. So thank you for that. And that's all. That's it. That's all. We did it again.
Bum, bum, bum.
It's been another episode of What's Good With You.
Bum, ba-da-dum, bum.
Peace out.
Peace.